What's up, guys? I'm nobody special, and seeing what's going on in the world right now is upsetting to say the least. I want to tell you a little story. When I did my Firefighter 1 training last year, one of the hardest things, and one of the things most of the trainees were sweating, was this tower that we had. It was a 7-story building, and it was just basically stairs. And they put us in our full gear and our SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus, and they said just go up and come down, 7 flights of stairs. And a lot of these guys, including myself, had never worn the SCBA before, and it's a new experience. You almost have to learn to breathe all over again, because if you breathe too fast inside that mask, you don't give this little valve time to cycle, and you start rebreathing your CO2 and you can pass out. And on top of that, the mask gives you kind of a tunnel vision. You lose your peripheral vision when you wear this mask. So it's sensory-wise, the first time you put that thing on and exert yourself, it's an experience. And, you know, wearing 75 pounds of gear and climbing 7 flights of stairs in this thing that makes it hard to see and breathe, that was difficult for a lot of guys, myself included. We went up in a group of 3. My company that they broke the trainees up into, and 3 of us went up. I was out front. We had one guy in the middle, one guy in the back, single file. And when we came down, there was 2 of us. The guy in the back had fallen behind, and we didn't notice. And to say I got chewed out by the instructors would be to put it mildly. They tore into me like you wouldn't believe, and I sat there and I took it, because I deserved it. You don't leave someone behind. You don't leave people behind. And it was an honest mistake. It's not like we were like, where is the guy? Oh well, screw him, leave him behind. We didn't notice he fell behind. We were so worried about, oh my God, this is hard and I can't breathe and I'm tired and I'm sweating inside this, you know, this overcoat and everything. I mean, the stuff doesn't breathe. You sweat like crazy, and it's just like wearing a plastic bag. So we were all just worried about our own senses and everything that was going on. We didn't notice a guy fell behind, and what had happened was the 3rd guy in line had panicked a little bit because he couldn't breathe, and he stopped halfway on the way down, and he ripped his mask off his face. And we didn't notice. It's not like he called out to us, hey guys, wait. He couldn't breathe, so he couldn't call out to us. But we didn't notice it happened. In the chaos, we didn't catch it. We didn't make sure nobody got left behind. So I deserved every ounce of that ass chewing I got for leaving a man behind. And we had to go right back up the stairs and get him and walk him back down. But that was a hard lesson to learn. And so I'm seeing this thing going on in Afghanistan right now, and all these people getting left behind. It's hard to watch. It's putting it mildly. We don't leave people behind. And it's hard for me to sit here and talk to you guys about money today, seeing what's going on. And I'm going to try to take the emotion out of it. I mean, I've said before, we don't do politics here on this channel, so I'm not going to do that. But suffice it to say, my stomach is in knots today. And I'm also a father of 2 little girls. And for a split second there, I tried to put myself in the position of an Afghan father of 2 little girls and what life looks like for him and his family now and those little girls now. And I had to stop. I couldn't, because that was making my stomach turn. So that being said, and I've got family that served over there. I've got friends that served over there. This is a hard time, okay? But it's a reality of what it is. The writing has been on the wall in Afghanistan for some time now. I don't want to get into whether we should have been there to begin with or not, or how we should. It's not the time for that. All right? The history books will have plenty of time to debate that. But here's the reality. It's happening. So what does that mean? And without getting into politics, there's a couple of things that we can probably expect to see in the not too distant future. Because we saw something similar after the fall of Saigon, which, let's face it, this is Saigon 2.0. Inflation really took off in the U.S. Now, it had started before the fall of Saigon, But 1974 is really when inflation took off in the US in the 1970s. It started the year around 4 or 5% and it ended the year over 11%. And if you think about it, where does the dollar derive its value? Well, the dollar's value comes from the full faith and credit of the United States government. And all politics aside, right now the faith and credit of the United States government is worth a hell of a lot less than it was on Friday afternoon. Let's face it, folks, it is. And our trade partners, our allies, everybody is seeing this, and our standing is lessened now. So, I mean, just on those fundamentals alone, I would expect the de-dollarization that's going on overseas will accelerate now as foreign countries decide, hey, we probably don't want to do business with the United States, or we don't want to do business in the U.S. currency right now. And we've already seen a lot of foreign central banks have been de-dollarizing. I think that's going to pick up speed now. I did some videos 2 weeks ago about the situation in the Strait of Hormuz, and with the Iranians playing games with navigation, trying to mess with global oil prices. I think we can all but guarantee that more of that happens now. Because another thing that happened after the fall of Saigon was the U.S. population was very weary of any involvement overseas. So think about it right now. If Iran decides they're going to shut down the Strait of Hormuz and they're going to jack up oil prices, and if you're sitting there saying they wouldn't do that, guess what? They would. Because they bombed a tanker 3 weeks ago and they hijacked a tanker 2 weeks ago. And they just opened a new oil export terminal east of the Strait of Hormuz, so the Iranians don't need that strait to sell their oil, but the Saudis do. And if the Iranians close that strait, oil prices will skyrocket, and the Iranians can take advantage of those higher prices. And Iran is on economic life support, so they are incentivized to do that. And what would we do then? Would we, with everything going on right now, watching people fall from the wings of planes and people clinging to landing gear to escape from Afghanistan, are we just going to roll in there and start another war right now? Nope. Nope. Not with morale in the U.S. in the state it is right now and in the military. Are you kidding me? A week later to get into another war? No way. And I know the Iranians are thinking this. And if you're China and you see the global supply chain being stressed the way it is right now, well, this isn't a bad time for the Chinese to decide to press their advantage, take advantage of our weakness, and, I don't know, maybe make some move on Taiwan. Maybe not overt military action against Taiwan, but put some kind of trade pressure on the Taiwanese. I mean, we've got a big semiconductor shortage going on in this country right now, and a lot of our semiconductors come from Taiwan. And if the Chinese decided they wanted to mess with Taiwanese exports right now, are we going to do anything about it? Not right now. Not with the U.S. public. I mean, if there was any military intervention abroad right now, the U.S. public would be so pissed off and so upset. And rightly so. I mean, who wants to get into another conflict now watching how this one ended? So we can probably bank on people whose interests are not aligned with ours pressing the advantage. And that probably means trouble for international shipping. That probably means trouble for energy markets. And it probably means inflation getting worse. And again, I know it's hard to talk about money at a time like this, but this is a finance channel, so it's what we have to do. But this is going to have consequences. This is going to echo through history, what's going on right now. If you guys know somebody, if you know a veteran, it's not a bad time to give them a call. Just check in on them, see how they're doing. Tell them you care. Because I'm not a veteran. I never served in the military, but I'm feeling pretty down right now. I cannot imagine someone who spent years away from their family in that hellhole, what they must be going through watching this right now. I cannot imagine. So Guys, that's all I got for you today. Pick up the phone, call a veteran, tell him you love him, tell him you care. In the meantime, well, it's hard to say live small and dream big right now, but that's how I usually end my videos. Hang in there, folks. Take it easy.